Hey guys, I'm Disney Dad, and today in this video we're going to cover the 20 things that you won't regret doing or buying at Disney World on your next trip. Let's get started. I quickly want to mention before we get started that I do tip videos just like this one and also Disney news videos for Disneyland and Disney World. So consider subscribing down below if you guys love this content. First thing on the list, number one, is character dining. Now, if you don't go to Disney World very often, it's a once a year, once every couple year thing, I highly recommend that you budget the money and time for this experience because you're gonna love it, especially if you have kids. Totally won't regret it. Moving on to number two, and that is the custom magic bands. Now, it costs a little bit more money to get the custom bands, and as of this year, you actually don't get them included with your Disney Resort stay, but it's definitely worth to get the little nicer ones. It's great memories, and you can always use it the next time you visit. Number three on the list, and that's Disney snacks. And like we always say, calories don't count at Disney World. And while that might not necessarily be true, you do walk a ton of miles while you're there, so that extra Mickey cupcake or donut isn't always out of reach. Moving right along, number four on the list, and that is popcorn buckets. Now, I highly recommend you do this. You won't regret it because the Disney popcorn buckets can be really cool. And they always have different ones throughout the year. So when you make your trip over there, make sure you grab one of those collectible buckets. Also, they're refillable for $2 or so each time you go to the popcorn stand. Five on the list, and that is the monorail. Now, depending on where you're going, where you're staying, it might not always make sense to take the monorail, but you definitely want to ride the monorail at least once in your stay, especially if you've never done it before. You won't regret it. Number six, and this is one I say all the time on my channel, is ponchos and umbrellas. Now, if you forget to bring one, you'll definitely won't regret buying them when you need them because it rains a lot in Florida. So it's one purchase you might have to make and you won't regret it. Number seven on the list, and depends on what time of year you go, but that is the holiday merchandise and limited time offerings. You definitely want to pick these up when you're there. It could be the highlight of your trip. And it might not be available for your next trip. It might be seasonal, limited time. You might not ever be able to get it again. So grab it while you can. Number eight on the list, and that is making sure you get in all three mountains: Splash Mountain, Space Mountain, and Big Thunder Mountain. You definitely want to get all three of these on your next trip, especially if you've never ridden all of them. They're iconic and you're definitely not going to want to miss it. Number nine on the list, and that's the SOUVENIR mug. Now, if you get the Disney dining plan, it comes with it complimentary. But even if you don't, it's actually one of the better things you can do for your trip, especially if you're there for a week or more, because it only takes about 5 fill-ups to reimburse the about $20 it costs for you to get it. So I recommend doing it. You won't regret it. Number 10 on the list is something that I love doing and I highly recommend it. You won't regret it, and that is building a lightsaber, a custom lightsaber, over at Hollywood Studios. And also, if you can afford it, to build a custom droid. This is one thing I always highly recommend, especially if you've never been there before and you don't go very often. It's something you can put on display in your home. It's great. I highly recommend it. Number 11 on the list is honorable mention, and that is Mickey and Minnie ears. Make sure you grab a couple different styles for you and your kids. Number 12 on the list, something that everyone needs, and that is a great castle photo. Now, you might have to get there super early in the morning, right as the crowd show up, so you can be in the front of the line, but you gotta snag that great castle pic for your collection. Number 13 on the list, and that's the memory maker. Now, depending on whether you want to carry your camera around with you everywhere you go and be that photographer while I try and do a million other things, I recommend getting the memory maker. It's a little bit more money, but you get some great cool scenes. They always set up in the best locations. They add graphics and different characters and designs to your photos automatically. Definitely get it. Number 14 on the list, and that is the People Mover. Now, this is a highly underrated ride. I absolutely love it. Me and my family are always on it every time we go. People look over it because it's not a 50-mile-an-hour, super fast, all over the place roller coaster, but it gives you a lot of behind scenes shots of different rides and different attractions as you go through them. It's definitely worth doing. I highly recommend it. Number 16 on the list, and that is Disney Springs. Now, it's very easy for people to look over it because it's not as exciting. It doesn't have any rides in it, but you have some great restaurant opportunities. You have some great shopping there. There's shows that go on there, movie theater, bowling alley. I definitely think you should spend one night at least on your trip at Disney Springs. Number 17 on the list, and that is the showcase over at Epcot. Now, sometimes I hear people recommend to skip this. Don't do it. You will regret that. Make sure you head over to World Showcase, walk around, enjoy the shows, the drinks, the food. You will absolutely love it. Do not sleep on the World Showcase over at Epcot. You will love it. Even with kids, I still recommend it. Number 18 on the list, and that is the Disney World fireworks show. Now I know with everything going on right now, they're actually on hold, you can't see them, but when they do come back, there's no better way to end your magical day with a nice fireworks show. Number 19, and you'll regret if you don't do it, and that is skipping over the parades. Now, depending on how many times you've been to Disney World, I do recommend sometimes skipping the parades because the lines are shorter, but if you've never experienced the parades, you'll absolutely love them. I remember the first couple times I saw them as a kid. They're wonderful for kids, even adults. There's a lot going on. You got all your characters. Don't sleep on the parades. Number 20 on the list, and a lot of seasoned Disney vets will skip over this one, including myself. But if you've never done this at least once in the different times of the year, I highly recommend that you go to Disney World during holidays. The theming, the decorations, it's great. Now Disney World can be very, very crowded during these times, but you need to experience Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's Eve, all these different holidays at Disney World at least once. You will not regret it, I promise you. You'll have to shift through all the crowds, but it'll be worth it. Thanks guys, if you made it through this video, I highly appreciate that. Make sure you guys check out disneydad.org, my website. It's got all different blog articles, these videos, everything you need, my Instagram, my social media links. Go check it out guys. Like this video if you guys love it, and make sure you comment down below what you want to see next time. I'll see you guys.